All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of the Supercoach 360 BBL podcast chat. We've got 3 other great BBL participants that are going to give us a lot of their news and info this week. We've got Rossco. There's away, Rossco. We've got Timmy.
Howdy, boys.
Mr. Timmy, and we've got Guy. How are we going, Guy?
G'day, lads. How are we?
Oh, just living a dream. So we're going to probably go straight into some BBL news, and a lot of this is going to fall on Rossco because he's got a fair bit of news to sort of give us on form lines. Now, there were a couple of signings from the Scorchers this week, but that's not really going to affect us, but that's one to keep an eye on because I think in that round 2, both those English signings might become relevant. They're replacement players there. No injury news about Sam's. Anybody hear anything about Sam's?
As far as from what I've heard, he should be good to go for the first game, but whether he plays all 4 games is yet to be known. So I guess we'll find out. They play first game, which is a benefit too. So yeah, wouldn't be stressing too much about it. We can just trade him to someone else if he's out.
The Sixers have got a heap of injuries that, although they're not on a double, so it's not really going to be relevant. I think the main relevant one's Patterson. That right, Rossco there? He's
Curtis Patterson, Todd Murphy, Chris Jordan, and I've got a mind blank on who the other one was. There was one other. Can't remember who it was. But there's one more.
Yeah.
It was Ben Dwarshus was the other one. And then also Cameron Boyce is also injured for the strikers as well, but I don't think he was going to be playing the first round anyway.
Yeah, he was. But that could affect Matt Short. For short owners, that could mean a bit more certainty on him getting the bowl. I think. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think so. For sure. Yeah, I think him and De Graham will probably be the ones that will split that 5th bowling option for the strikers.
All right, now we've got Timmy. Timmy, you went pretty well in last year's BBL, didn't you?
Hey? Yeah, not bad for first season, mate. I think I finished was around 300. So I'd always followed the BBL and kept a bit of a close eye on it, but I'd never actually played it. It was Supercoach. So yeah, it was good fun. It was good fun, something different. It's the biggest advice I think I'd give anyone is you just makes it so much easier if you can watch every game, which is going to be difficult for me this year. I'm taking the family away on a holiday. We leave tomorrow, go away for a week, and then I come back for a few days, and then I'm doing the Sydney to Hobart yacht race. So it's going to be pretty hard to stay on top of teams while I'm in the middle of the ocean on the way to Hobart.
Oh, the Sydney to Hobart. So do we put any money on you winning handicap honours or anything?
I don't know about overall, but we're looking all right in our division at the moment.
Oh, geez, we'll have to get some mail on that one. Put a few dollars down, I reckon.
I'll keep you posted as we get closer.
And Guy, how'd you end up last year in your BBL dream?
Oh, I think it was about 1,040. I remember I just missed the top 1,000. So not too good.
Yeah, you're probably right with me, but I think I got COVID in the last week of it. I didn't do a trade in that last week, and that.
No, there was someone in the last week that went off that I rested, and I can't remember who it was. They just went ballistic.
Yeah,
in that last week. But
all right, Rossco, form lines. What do you got for us? Who's on fire in these practice matches we've got going?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously practice matches don't mean a hell of a lot, but it gives us some sort of indication on some players. But the main ones was probably Marcus Stoinis knocking 62 off 26. Batting at 4 against the Renegades. John O'Wells with 102 off 50 balls as well. He looked really good. I watched some of that game. He'll probably bat about 5 for the Renegades, I would say most likely. Finch got 79 off 46 as well. Bancroft 58 off 34 opening. Inglis 57 off 29 batting at 4. Matt Kelly 2 for 27. Peter Hatzoglu 2 for 22. Joe Clark, I've missed him too. He got 41 off 21 as well. And then in the Brisbane local inter-club match, Josh Brown, one up and coming to watch for the Heat. 64 off 28 and 2 for 4. It's just a shame he's not a dual, but I think he'll get a game at some stage. He looks really, really good. And Nathan McSweeney, 51 off 30, who has come in as a local replacement player. Don't think he'll play the first game though. Other than that, there were some other local T20 comps in Tasmania played on the weekend. Caleb Jewell, 58 off 57. Mac Wright, 105 off 50. He comes back from injury. And Ben McDermott, 36 off 22 were the main ones.
Wow. McSweeney, so he's definitely been signed with the Heat now.
Apparently signed as a local replacement player for the Heat. He will get a game at some stage. Would say most likely once Munro and Billings and that head back after their little stint that they do here for their other T20 comp. But I think both him and Josh Brown will probably both get games for the Heat at some stage. Josh Brown looks like a really good prospect up there in Brisbane too.
Do you think he'll make the first 11?
I don't, but I think Max Bryant's probably ahead of him. If he's going to replace anyone, it's probably going to be Max Bryant. But yeah, I'd probably have Max Bryant just ahead of him at the moment. But who knows what they're going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Brian's got the job security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd probably have him in the team over, mate. I'd probably have him in the team over Pearson, but Pearson's the captain and keeper, so he's not going to go anywhere. So, yeah, but that's pretty much the main ones from the trial games on the weekend. So, yeah.
Ah, very good. No, thanks, Rossco. Now, Timmy, how are you going with your team? Have you, seeing as how you're probably one of the better finishers in amongst us for last year, you're going to give us some hints on what you picked?
Yeah, look, I'm happy enough. It's still early days, and I've got plenty of hours in the car tomorrow to change things. So I'm quite happy to read out what I've got so far. And by all means, you boys can give me your for and against and whatever else.
Yep.
Look, at the moment, I'm going fairly vanilla with Jilks and Inglis. Up in the keeping. At the moment, I haven't got a backup keeper, as in a third keeper in that or anything like that, which is sort of goes against what I'd like to do. It's always handy having that third keeper that you can flip around and sort of save you some trades.
Just on that keeper slot, have you looked at Bancroft as your backup back? Because you could swap.
Well, that's probably where I'm going to end up. I've got about 100K left. I think Bancroft's about 95 or something, isn't he? So he may end up going in as like my backup, my reserve in the batting lineup. So that's something that I've tossed up with over the last couple of days. It looks like he should shore up opening the batting, and he's been in okay form, so I think he'll go okay.
Well, that's the thing, and most people are more keen on Inglis, but like I think Bancroft's going to open, and Inglis will be 4 or 5. So Bancroft's probably going to go out of the 2.
Yeah, that's right. I agree with you there. I think he's going to open, and I think if you can get an opener for under 100K, I think you're looking all right. So at the moment in my batting lineup, I've got Matty Short, I've got Sams, Hales, Rosso, and Stoinis, and my backup batters at the moment are Maxi Bryant and Ollie Davies. So there's a fair bit of versatility in there. I've got Sams, Short, and Stoinis as obviously can bat and bowl, so I can flip them from the batting position down to bowling. And then in my bowling strengths at the moment, I've got Rashid Khan, I've got Bolt, I've got Majib, Faruqi. I'm not really sure whether he will actually start or not, but he's there as a placeholder at the moment for the Thunder. I've got Zampa, and then on the bench I've got Ty and Nessa. And I'm interested to see what's going to happen with Nessa with the Brisbane Test. Obviously, Bolt just on mental block.
Boland.
That's him, Boland, Bolt. I just read Bolt, not Boland. Yeah, Boland obviously just got 3 in the 1 over last night, but I'm just interested to see. I think they might give Michael Nisa the run as it's at the Gabba. It wouldn't surprise me at all. He's a local boy, plays for the Heat. He'll have a bit of a home ground advantage up there. So yeah, I'll be interested to see whether they go with Nisa or go with Boland. If Nisa's left out, then he will stay in my bowling attack. If he's 11th or 12th man, then I think I'll have to find an alternative.
Ah, very nice. Just
Side
on
sounds
Open to any
alright.
suggestions, though, gentlemen. Open to any suggestions.
Side sounds all right, but I'd go with Guy and bring Bancroft in for one of your players in your bat because you don't have anyone for your bench loop option for your bat at the moment.
yeah,
And
I-
then
option.
Farouk, I'm not sort of, Farouk's another one that,
Yeah, you
Yeah,
could go
not
for
sure.
Rookie up to like a Siddle. I
Mm,
don't mind Sids if he's going to bowl the 4.
Yeah.
I'm personally not sold on Bolt for that price.
It's
Yeah,
a lot of cash, but he just seems to be. He has the ability, and he was sort of one of the first couple of players that I picked. I think you could. It's like playing NRL Supercoach. You sort of start with your guns and your high-priced players, and then filter down from there. I find it's much easier to go back down to someone cheaper than it is to try and find another 20 or 30K to bring somebody else in. So I figured by starting with him, I can always work backwards. But with the Faruqi, I could also obviously dump him and then bring down Stoinis or Sams or Short down to the bowling, and then bring Bancroft in up into batting through that way.
Just so the people at home are aware, or anyone listening, it's really important that you have, or you do consider a third keeper, because if you don't, then it really rules out the looping option that you have as far as what wicket keeping is concerned. So, for instance, you might choose to go with, say, Gilks and a Matty Wade, right? And you have Matty Wade and you're starting, but you have Gilks on your bench. Now, if Gilks goes off, you want to be able to loop him into the game. That's the idea, is having him on the bench. So if he goes like shit, well, you save yourself that pain, and you go with the score that Matty Wade's going to get. But if you don't have a third wicket keeper down in your batting option, it's very hard then to make that all happen and to get that looping option to work for you. You need to be able to slot, say, Inglis straight up into that wicket keeping spot, and then your emergency comes over, Matty Gilks, and then you get his score. Was that clear, or did I make that a bit too complex?
I agree. The only thing I'd advise then is make sure you've got 3 keepers from 3 different teams. In the case that I've got Inglis at the moment, so if I bring Bancroft in as my third keeper, then I've obviously got 2 blokes that aren't playing round 1, so it's a little bit harder. So I'd have to start with Gilks and leave him there. So if I'm going for that,
I've got the 3 of them, but if you start Inglis or one of the Perth players as your starter, and then Gilks as your backup, you're automatically going to get Gilks anyway. So you got a free loop.
Yeah, that's right.
And then the other one you use as your batting loop as well.
Hmm.
The only issue you're going to have is next week in round 2, they both have the double. So you're going to have to choose 2 out of the 3 to play, and you won't have a loop option up keeper.
Yeah. No, well, so that's why I have gone Joe Clark, Inglis and Matty Wade. But the idea in that is that I'll have Clark, and he can sit there next week as a looping option as well for me. So, he'll be my non-player that I keep.
Yeah, I got the same as you, Brad.
Yeah.
Same as you. Those same 3 keepers.
I started with Clark last season, and he was just so disappointing for the start. Like he finished well, but I think in the end, I think I dropped him mid-season and then brought him back in when he finally started to find some form.
Yeah, he did start slow last year. That's for sure.
Any other questions?
Keeper options.
Yeah. Your bowler with Faruqi, well, who knows? But the only thing and I guess this leads us into something we were talking about just off here a minute ago. The bowling options for the Thunder are a very scary prospect at the moment. There is an awful lot of bowling talent there, and at the moment they look like running 4 internationals, but of course each game you can only run 3. So that means that Faruqi could miss out if they decide to go with a spinner. It's just and just so many options, you know.
If you're gonna go
McAndrew,
safe,
Dorinda, you know.
if you're gonna go safe and you're trying to pick out of them, in terms of who's going to bowl 4, I think Sams and Green, you can both rely on to bowl 4. Whether they're going to take the wickets, I think they're your 2 highest priority.
But the question is, will Sam's play all 4 games in the doubles? I mean, he's coming back from injury.
It's only T20. They don't do that much.
Yeah, that's it.
I know that. I understand.
He's only out there for 4 overs.
No, well, it is a quandary as to know what to do with those Thunder bowlers. An awful lot of them. See, I'm not convinced. I know you said Green. I'm not convinced. I had Green, you know, in my team all preseason, but it's I've had to ditch him only because of the confusion there now and the logjam with bowling and that Thunder. He could well just bowl 2 overs in a game, you know.
I agree in terms of I don't think I've only got Sams as my only bowler from Thunder, but I just think Green's more likely to bowl 4 than the rest of those. But I still wouldn't have him.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have, say, Quiddy plays the first game for Thunder as their spinner. Then you're going to have him. You're going to have Green. You're going to have Jason Sanger who can bowl. Then you're going to probably have Sams. Then you're going to probably have Sandhu and your other bowler, whoever that's going to be, whether it's going to be McAndrew or Doggett. I don't know who that last one's going to be. So realistically, like you said, if Sams is probably the only one who's guaranteed 4 overs out of that bunch.
Yeah.
But that's why I picked up an extra batter. Like, I've got a question for you. Do you prefer Lynn or Rosso?
I've got both.
Yeah.
So
You've got both.
I've got both. Yeah.
Lynn for me in a by country mile. Lynn's one of the first picked, and I think you should, you know, anybody not picking him. Yeah, maybe give yourself an uppercut. He's just have a look. His form has been damn good at that price. I mean, he's you know, on a double. Man, that price. And as I said, his form in T20 overseas and the T10 just run. Yeah, just pick him. Just do it.
Yeah. The only thing that I feel the same about Peter Siddle. I'm thinking last year he did me so well, gotten all the wickets, and no one wants him now. So there's a few of those.
Yeah.
Is that a pricing though, Guy? Is that you know?
I'm happy personally with my strategy to spend more in my batting, but Lynn and Rosso are kind of similar price. I could only take one of them because I've already got too many Thunder. Like I had Hales, Gilks, and Sams, so I only wanted one more.
Yep.
Lynn's at 125 or 129 or something.
No, like 112 or something.
Yeah.
I think. And then Rosso's at 105.
I've had him in and out, but I don't know. The Brisbane Heat supporter that I am, I've got a bit of a love-hate relationship for the old skipper. But yeah, look, it's been a few years now since he's played at his best. And hopefully he regains the form that he used to have. I think he's a fantastic player. He's a great player for Australian T20 cricket. But there's a lot of ifs, buts, and maybes.
Yeah, but it's all dependent on team. Like, because I've already got Short, Khan, and Siddle, so I've already got 3 strikers. So I think that Siddle trade forced me to virtually go Lynn to Rosso.
Yep.
But I do like your Nessa. I think it's very important to have a Nessa or a Swepson. Definitely to have a Heat or 2.
Yeah.
Reserves.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, that sort of nearly leads us into the next little section we're gonna look at non-double game pods that you might have in your team. Now, I noticed Timmy had Majib, so we know where Timmy's sitting with a bit of a non-double gamer that's sitting there as a pod. Rossco, what are you liking there? You got a non-gamer, a non-double gamer sitting as a pod there in your team?
I do. I have got Hosnan from the Renegades at the moment as my pod. He's about 1% ownership at the moment. He looked pretty good in that T10 tournament. I think it was not long ago as well. So picked up a few wickets, and I just think he could be he's definitely a good sneaky pod option. But yeah, he's the main one for me. that I've got in my team at the moment. It's pretty much my pod.
Nice. That's a
Yeah.
nice one. Guy?
If I was going to go a pod out of the teams not on a double, I think it'd have to be the Hurricanes. I think they're the strongest team. So for me, I'd probably look at Darcy Short, Shadab Khan, or Matty Wade. I wouldn't pay up for McDermott because he's too expensive, but the other three I'd look hard at.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people are going a bit cold on Khan, I've noticed of late. I've had him in my team all preseason, but now it looks like he's probably going to be batting. I've seen a lot of argument about this, but I reckon number 7, and that's probably getting a bit low for me as a value sort of pick. So you're relying on his points as a bowler. What are your thoughts there now? Khan may be coming in at number 7 or even 8.
I think he'll come in at 8 just because of with the Neesham signing. I just think he's probably going to most likely come in at number 8.
I think it'll depend on how they're going as well, if how the side's going, because you've got Caleb Jewell and Asif Ali, who aren't your quickest run scorers. So they'll rely a lot on Tim David. But I just think even with his bowling and getting the bat, like even Rashid Khan bats 8 or 9. Yeah, I don't know. And for the price as well. Like Darcy Short's obviously a bit better option, but he's a bit more pricier.
He also isn't a pod really either. He's sitting about 20-something%, Darcy Short, so he's not really a pod.
He was Darcy Short was one of the first ones I picked, and then I faded him about a week ago. And just, I don't know, I'm not convinced this season.
The only thing is, I looked at his draw for his first 3 games, and he should bowl at least the first couple of games. He's got games at the SCG and games at Tasmania where he should bowl. I mean, spin friendly pitch at the SCG, and he tends to bowl a lot in the home games as well. So that's the only thing I can think is you probably will get some overs in, and they do play a lot of games at home this year too, the Hurricanes. So it could be definitely an option.
And I feel you got to take the risk sometimes on those players, like even like the Hayden Kerrs, even if they bat low, they're going to bowl. Like I noticed last year, the people that jumped on, there was a guy from Brisbane, was it not Jimmy Pearson, Basley, and he carved up.
Yeah.
And just even though his role wasn't that good because he bats middle order and might bowl only a few, sometimes they just come off and it can jump
the hard
up.
part with some of the fringe players last year too was that X factor rule. Obviously they've canned that this year, and that's going to make things much easier. But I remember I had I think it was Basley, and played a game, killed it, and then sat out the next game. And you just couldn't figure it out. Like they'd start really well. It was basically they bowl if they didn't get a wicket in their first over, then they'd get subbed out, and just that just screwed me. So
that was Bartlett last year. Remember that? Xavier Bartlett. They kept subbing him out after. How annoying was that? It was shocking.
I'm actually glad they got. I hated that X Factor thing. I'm glad they got.
Yeah, so did I, mate. It certainly made it hard to. It certainly made it hard to play this game. But I'd imagine for people that were betting and things like that, I'd imagine that pissed a lot of people off as well.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a horrible thing. All right, I've got a couple of questions here.
What about yourself, Brad? Have you got any sneaky pods?
Yeah, probably not real sneaky because we've spoken a bit about them, but obviously I've already said I'm going Wade, and I will stick to that. He's not going to be going anywhere. I do like Majid. I do like Hussain. Both of those two, I think, are real value. Hussain, really, if you want a price earner, I think he could be a really nice price earner.
And pod, he's only about 1%.
Yeah, that's right.
So and beyond that, well, then you've got to start looking into Brisbane and to see what's happening. But their bowling attack, I'm still not. I've been scratching my head a little bit about. Swepson looks like he probably is definitely going to get 4, but is he worth the money? I don't necessarily.
Swepson's not that expensive. It's only about 111k.
Yeah, but even then, is it still worth the money? I don't know. He gets belted sometimes, and it just doesn't seem to work for him.
Well, if you've got Nessa in your team, it's an easy swap to Sweps, and you know what I mean. If Nessa doesn't play, like I got a feeling that even if Nessa isn't in the team for the next test, that he will be kept in the squad as a 12th or 13th man. I'd be very surprised.
That's exactly what I'm afraid of.
So, yeah.
I have seen
that's probably what my backup plan is. I think Swepson will probably become the heat strike bowler almost, especially now with Majid not there anymore. So that's probably what I'll end up doing. I'll go Nessa and flick him down to Sweppo and go from there.
Yeah. They'll still play Kuhneman though, won't they? Kuhneman's still in Brisbane.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they'll both.
I don't think I'll play both spinners.
I mean, Kuhneman might play if Nessa's out. Kuhneman might play, but then they might bring in someone like Mildemuth or someone instead. I don't know.
No, they've got Renshaw who can bowl a few. Otherwise, if Kuhneman's in, I'd stay right away from Renshaw.
Oh yeah. I like Renshaw as a bit of a pod too.
What Perth bowler? I noticed Timmy, you're prepared to carry Ty. I thought the same with Richo, but they're a bit pricey. What's your thoughts on Berendorf as a cheaper alternative?
Well, I started with Berendorf last year and just didn't hit the heights that Ty did. So, yeah, look, I really like Ty. He was in great form last year, and it just seemed the wickets just kept coming. So I really liked it. I thought it was a bit of a pod play by starting him on the bench. And I mean, it's 156K that's tied up, but I'd much rather prefer to do that rather than try and find the money after round one. I just think I don't know. For me, he was a must-have for me. I had to find room to get him in there.
Yeah.
The only thing
it's very important.
Sorry, Guy. Berendorf's a very economical bowler, and he does take wickets, but he's not a tie wicket taker, and he bowls up front a lot, and he tends to bowl out his overs pretty quickly. Like he doesn't bowl in those power plays or at the back end, so he doesn't take a lot of wickets like Andrew Ty would. Ty will come in, bowl a couple overs, and he might bowl one in the power play and bowl one at the death or something like that. So he's going to get you more wickets than what Berendorf's going to get you.
Well, my Perth bowler is going to be Hats. Just put your house on him. Good old Hatsaloglu. He's friggin' awesome, man. He's just he's a gun and a great price. Yeah,
that you Guy.
Mate,
I mean, but I can't go him only because they've just got too many bowlers. Like,
yeah,
I think they'll start with Ty, Richo, Berendorf, and then Mills and Agar as their spinner.
So I don't even know if Mills is going to even get a game, possibly.
Mills they've still got Kelly.
And they've
Lance
got
Morris
Lance
is being called up now, but
yeah,
that's the problem. They're two. They've got a lot of depth, and that's going to be the problem. I think it'll depend on which ground they're playing at. Is obviously going to depend on their bowling attack.
I think the only safe option for bowlers for Perth is Agar and Ty are the only two safe ones.
Obviously, and Richo if he's fit.
And I think Richo if he's fit. But I can't see him playing every game either.
Yeah.
The other one that I think should be more owned and will become round 4 when most people pick him up is Abbott. Like I think Abbott and Felipe both are you have to pick them up round 4 before they're double in round 5. So you kind of got to work your funds and look at your future trades as well.
Yeah,
but he's someone that
a lot of people started with
Philippe
too. Philippe's very high end already, sitting at about 30-something% owned.
Yeah, Abbott's only about 15 to 20.
All right. Well, we're just about running towards the end here of time. But there is a couple of questions that came in. We've answered most of them. I mean, Paul Burkhart, he's asked about 4 of them. On your Paul, thanks for tuning in and watching us and putting up with our dribble. But one of his good ones is with the round 1 double, how many Stars, Strikers and Thunder would be ideal as a mathematical sort of mix? You know, how many from each team are you looking at? Who wants to have a shot?
I've got my whole squad, bar Majid, as in my starting 11, bar Majid. He's my only pod that's not Stars, Strikers or Thunder.
Be you going 5, 3, and 3, or what?
What have I got at the moment?
I will.
Five Thunder, 3 Stars, 2 Strikers, and Majid the Renegade.
I've got 3 Stars, 3 Thunder, and 3. I've got 3 of each. There you go, and 3 Strikers.
So I'm a bit more loaded. I've gone 4 Strikers, 4 Thunder, 3 Stars.
And I've heard a lot of argument about not including too many stars, but I've actually gone 4 stars at the moment. At one stage I had 5, but I'm not too scared about that round 2 double because I'm going to need a couple of bench sitters as looping options anyway. So I'm not too worried about personally about going upwards of 4, knowing I've got to trade a couple of them out anyway. All right, guys, that's about it. I'm getting a warning bell. Thanks very much, everybody, for coming on. We're going to do another one probably Friday, which during that last game of the round. I think the boys are looking to get together a live one. So hopefully Bergs, Con, and somebody else will jump in there with the 3 of them, and they'll do a quick live chat on Friday. So till then, thanks, Rossco.
Thanks, Brad.
Thanks, Timo.
Cheers, lads. Good
Thanks
luck
for having me
all
on, boys.
first week.
Go the Heat.
Thanks, Guy. All right. See you all.
Go the Sixers.